Hello everyone and welcome back to Fixing Up the Fargo, part number 4. Yep, we're at part number 4 already. We're at a little bit of a standstill here, so we're going to tackle some other stuff that should have been done anyways. We're waiting on piston rings. We're hunting for a set of Hastings 663 piston rings, 30 over. I mean, ideally 20 over would be perfect because 20 over is what it's bored to. But if you can't get standard pistons, rings won't work. If you can't get 20s, you can get 30s and we'll file them down to work. So what do you do if you can't get the 20s? I don't know. Got to make it work with what you can get, I guess. So what we've done since you guys last were here is we've installed a seat cover. That's about it. It was 50 bucks off of Amazon. It fits amazing, looks amazing. The color even matches amazing. It looks great. What we're gonna do is get some new tires for the front, and the tires obviously are gonna be a lot bigger than that. They're gonna be like a 28-inch tire like the back. They're a 616 on the back. Those bias plies just look so good. They don't leak. They got great tread. The cracking isn't too bad, and they're obviously tubed because of that already. So we're gonna leave them on there because I think that look is just killer, and I love that rusty rim. So what we're gonna do is take these 16s. That one's perfect. This one has paint. I got this awesome stuff here called patina spray that my buddy Glenn from Redneck Coachworks has mixed up. If you guys haven't checked him out, he's another Saskatchewan YouTuber. Glenn's an amazing guy with metal. He has been working on an old Plymouth, his 59 GM, and he's got an old 28 Dodge Rat Rod that he made himself. So you guys check him out. That's his channel there. Just thought I'd put in a little thing for him since he gave me this spray. And it's, once I make this bare metal, you spray this stuff on, it'll make it look rusty like that. So we're gonna use that and make this rim aged. And once we get our half moons on there and new tires, it's gonna make this truck really pop once we got that all dialed in. I did give that just a quick shot of spray paint, and now I'm gonna sand it and get that off of there just to blend in that little bit of Bondo, and I'm gonna darken it up to the paint. I got a couple tricks yet. But what we're doing here, since we're waiting on rings, it could be a month before we get them. I went around with tape, shined light in my intake and exhaust ports, and made sure my valves were good. I cleaned up the bottom of them. My faces look good. The seats look good on everyone except the ones you don't see with tape on them. This one right here that does have tape, it was tight. That's why my light's shining on it. So I loosened it off. I'm gonna set the gaps after, but just a quick roll over. I only got 2 bad ones. So we're gonna try and clean up those seats just a little bit ghetto, I think, with a bit of sandpaper in there. Just there's so much carbon sitting on them, so I'm hoping to just clean them up that way. And maybe they're tight, I don't know, and we'll get them to seat tight. Then we're ready to hone this sucker, and we're ready to get the tires put on the front, and then we're just waiting on piston rings basically. Get a new oil pan gasket coming, and this thing's gonna be in good shape. I'm really excited to get this hood on and get this front end looking nice. We're gonna tie you guys into this. I gotta figure out how to, if I'm gonna heat these or what. I'm gonna somehow jack on this and get this bumper pushed back down from it being bent. It took a backhoe with the front end off the ground to bend that. So I don't feel that it's gonna be too easy to bend back, but we'll see what we can do. Okay, I slightly touched the large clump of carbon on this one and reset the valve lash. It fit perfect, it cleaned that right off. What are you guys doing? They like the new seat in there, I guess. They come up through their secret passage in the floor because there's no tunnel in there. Anyways, we got 2 left to do, so we might have to pull those valves. I just checked my compressor, valve spring compressor. It will not work on a flat head because I was used to more modern vehicles. So we'll get those valves pulled somehow here or get a compressor, but we'll go from there. I don't know if I'm gonna have to put new seats in. They actually are hardened seats put in there, so we'll see what we can do. I was trying to be so careful and save that bowl gasket, but we can make one. It's just a pain. But let's get in there. We'll clean up this bad boy so when our rings get here, we have a nice reliable carb to start it with. All right, well, we're all part. I'm gonna soak this now and then we'll return to you guys, and I might spray out all these little jets off camera. We got Frank the apprentice here. This one's name is Frank, the other one's name is Felix. Thought I'd include him because a lot of people were asking about these cats, so they're famous now. Anyways, I wish he'd learn and could use stuff because he sits here and watches me all day. Anyways, let's get this done, right, buddy? Okay, parts are all in. I just blew everything out, cleaned it out. We traced out our old gasket and made a new one. It's not perfect, but it doesn't need to be. It just needs to seal, and that's all. So, good old beer case, repurposed again. Plus Frank knows how to make one now, so he can do it next time. Right, buddy? You gonna do it next time? Yeah. Okay, with our carb all clean and bolted on, we just went to the local Napa to get ourselves some flathead valve spring compressor. Of course, they don't have one of those, and they don't have a nice cylinder hone either. So what we did is we went to Canadian Tire, and I got this rubber matting that was on sale. It's very thin, and I'm gonna see if I can shape it to the floorboards of the truck and make us a nice mat, because that's what it had from factory. However, from factory it was shaped over top of the hump, but the stuff from the factory just disintegrated. So that's what we're gonna try. So me being me, I thought if I can't get a valve compressor locally, it's gonna be over a week to ship one. I wanna get on this and get this valve out. What do? We got that spring there, and you see the one on the left, it's up. So I thought, what if I make something and shove it in there and then rotate the engine and bring it down? So I made this crudely, just quick, just to see. And I thought, we'll bring this valve up right here. That's the one we want to get out. I'll go like this, put it in behind there. That'll go around our spring like that. So now, if I rotate this down, it's hitting. Gonna keep going down. There we go. Now, a little sticky. Look at that. There's our keepers. I don't know if it's gonna be enough, but let's check it out and see. I got both the valves out. The seats are pitted. We're gonna see how to address that. But for now, we're gonna go on to this. It just came in the mail, so it's a good day for this. So let's get to it. First step, we have to take out all of the bungs and, you know, the sending unit, draw straw, all that jazz. I'm just putting some heat to it because this tank was outside and it was stinky, so I'm warming it up before I get to anything. Okay, so just for a before and after of this fuel tank, I thought we'd look inside it and check it out. I want to bring this up. I won't say that this was an unboxing because I've already unboxed it and I've used this because I want to give an honest review. Kaiweets here has sent me this KB01 articulating industrial borescope, which is awesome because the end of it articulates back and forth. And I've had borescopes before that didn't do that, and whenever you get them inside, you go to look around and you're going to twist and stuff and you can't see anything. This way you just dial it. So let's get into it, I'll show you it, but let's take a look at this tank and see what it looks like. and then we'll compare it to our results once it's all clean. We'll probably check after the metal prep, and then once it's sealed. But anyways, it comes in this nice case, really nice case actually. And again, they sent this to me, user manual. But what I like about it is the length. It's really long, and this is the part I like. Look at, see this dial right here? I move this with these fingers, and this goes back and forth. So if this is deep down in a pipe somewhere and you need to look around, you just dial that and you can look around. It came with the nice, you know, the hooks for the end of it in case you're using it to grab something. They're handy that way. But the screen, I haven't even opened it yet. We're gonna check it out here, so let's go to the tank and see what it looks like inside. Okay, so as you can see, there's our articulating part here where I say you just dial this. Works pretty good, and the quality is just amazing. Anyways, let's see what the inside of the tank looks like. So the top, which this would have been on the front of our truck right here. So if we tilt up, it looks nice. Like there's not a lot of rust in there. It looks pretty good. And this will be our bottom. So this should be our worst part getting there. So it looks rusty, a little bit of steel, but nothing overly clogged up. Okay, let's get down in here and look. Quite a bit of rust in there. Get down towards the middle here. So the light that you're seeing to the right there, that's our drain plug. So that would be where all of our stuff, crap and sediment would be, which I assume from having the tank sideways is not there anymore. It'll be at the bottom. So let's get down there. So at the bottom, everything's looking good. You can see right there, that's looking like it could be where it may leak pinhole, but we're lining it for that reason. Ooh, that's not looking nice. That's on the seam. Actually, is it the seam or is that the filler neck? That's our filler neck there, I believe. So that's not looking the nicest, but overall, not horrible. And look, you can see I cranked it right around. It's looking at itself. Yeah, that bad part is our filler neck, which I know is crappy looking. Okay, so while we're waiting on that, I still don't have my transmission hump, but I've placed a box in there that's about the size of what it was. So I have brought it to the edge on each side right here and here. And now I'm just gonna take my tin snips and I'm gonna shape up around here roughly, but I'm gonna leave it about 1 inch long just in case the transmission hump's bigger. We can always make it shorter, can't make it longer. So I'm gonna trim that, get it folded down, trim around our pedals, and we'll have a nice looking floor mat for this truck. One round done. I forgot my tape job leaked a little bit, so we're gonna get some better tape next time and clean up our surfaces. But I would say that's working. We're getting lots and lots of rust out. My garbage is when I pulled it off the filler neck, which was all that crap from the filler neck. Okay, between our coats, we got the air going into here. That's our 2 coats of cleaner and degreaser. And it comes out the sending unit hole right here. It's really dry, so you can see it's actually starting to dry up on the outside of the tank. It doesn't need to be bone dry between coats, but we're gonna help it out here and dry it out a bit and then put our cleaner degreaser in. All right, time to wait now. I haven't even started on the interior like I said I would before. This is taking forever. I gotta keep rolling it, emptying it, draining it, drying it. So now it's gonna dry with the diesel heater going through it and coming out the sending unit hole in the filler neck. Hopefully it works really good. We're gonna get it dry and then we're gonna start sloshing around the sealer in it. The excess sealer is poured out. I sat here and had a beer and waited and waited and waited and rolled it. I'm gonna see how permanent it is because I plan on redoing the floor in here anyways and coating it. So I thought, I have good excuse to get it all over anyways. So I put some on the top there to see how fast it'll dry. That thin stuff's already dried. I cleared out my hole there for my center for my draw straw. I really want to look in with the Borescope, but I don't want to get the crap all over it and ruin it. So as you can see though, let's see if I can get it. It's kind of hard. I'm looking myself, but it's hard with the light. There we go, you can kind of see it. Anyways, it's coated all the way around and it's good. So we're gonna let it set up here and see what happens. Like I said, this stuff I just wiped on with my fingers with a glove on for fun, and it's already hard. So we'll let it harden up here. Okay, it's the next morning. Let's see what we can do with this thing and see what our inside of our tank looks like. Okay, going along the bottom of our tank here, it's got a really nice coating. It dries really nice and hard. What do I see there? Oh, that's the corner of the tank. There was some dents in there. So it's got in there, and I rolled it around on the seams quite a bit. Bring this in closer. So that seam there, I rolled it and looked inside and made sure I drizzled all along there. So overall, really happy with it. Okay, tank is bolted in. This is a factory bolt. This one here, I had to put a nut up top because the factory, they had nuts welded to this cross member. And if you can see, I can put my finger in there. I have two washers in between here and here to space the tank down, because from factory, or from just over time, it was touching this cross member here a little bit. This is our fuel line. Our metal line is right, oh, I apologize, it's tight under here. This is where I have my stub left and I put my fuel line on here. I'm just gonna double clamp it there, and then it runs with the factory metal line all the way up to the front. We managed to find a couple tires. I wanted something that kind of looked like the back, and I couldn't find anything brand new. I had priced them about 200 bucks, and that's not a big deal, but I found these with decent tread, some cracking, but they were almost the same size as the old bias plies. So we got them mounted. That one we had a hard time to do, but it's on there. So we're gonna get them mounted up and see how it goes. And I would say that it went well. This truck looks amazing now, though. I love how the front fenders are cut higher than the back. It's sitting level again. Our tires are about a ½ inch smaller in the front than the rear, and they look excellent. So that's one side. I just threw the Fargo logo on there. Matches up really well. And our other side here as well. Wow, this truck sits up about 2 inches higher in the front. It actually looks like a truck instead of like a drag car from like before it was sitting so low in the front. So now that we've got our fuel tank in, we've got our carb cleaned, we just need to get our transmission hump for the interior, and then that's done. I didn't cut that rubber as you've seen, and I'm hoping to get the hump in before I cut it because I don't want the hump to be too tall and then my rubber to be too short once you cut it. So that's all done, and then basically we're just waiting on piston rings. I ordered some gaskets for the oil pan. Our tappet cover gaskets here look just fine, and the thing that I'm most excited about is I'm looking for an old valve grinder. So I'm looking for an old Black & Decker, or there's this other company called Sioux, and Sioux made them as well. So I found one that somebody had inherited close by to me, and they didn't have the seat grinder, which is what I need ideally, but I want to get the face grinder and everything so I can do them all. And I'm going to see if I can track that down this week, and in the next video we'll be grinding a couple valve seats. I hope that I don't have to remove them. I'm hoping I can grind those and have them fit within spec. But if not, we're gonna have to remove those seats that are in there and go from there. But yeah, so that's all. Gas tank done, seat done, interior almost done, and slowly but surely we're getting there. I gotta say though that my favorite thing is these tires. They look a lot better in person, I will say, than here. This camera just picks out all the little details in the paint. But yeah, it looks just so much better. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Sorry about the jumbled up video, and the two things I want to improve from some of the comments, I always appreciate everybody's input, is I'm going to try and use my microphone, which I've purchased but I had some issues with, so I got it right here. So we're going to hopefully use that next time to give you guys some better sound quality, and we're going to just yeah, try and not have such a jumbled up video next time, and fingers crossed we can get those piston rings in sooner than later. And if you have any and you're still watching, I need Hastings number 663, I think, or is it 633? 663 and 030, which is 30 over, unless you have a new old stock set of Mopar or new old stock Hastings ones. You could get 20 over back in the day, but now they only offer 30s. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for part 5.